Hey everyone! This might seem like a bolt from the blue, but I thought this would be an interesting thing to talk about. When I first got my PS2 many moons ago, it came with a demo disc containing a variety of video game samples, most of which are merely trailers, but some of them are playable. Ratchet and Clank is one of those, and it contains 2 levels, Metropolis on planet Kerwan, and Blackwater City on planet Railgar. Having played the demo pretty frequently as a kid, when I eventually got around to playing the full game, I was quick to notice some interesting details that differ from the demo, and thought it would be an idea to present some of my findings.
Alright. Let's see it.
No doubt there are some very minuscule things that I didn't spot. I'm not going to be talking about the number of bolts in a level or the number of enemies, and I won't be spending much time on minor stuff like the on-screen text and menus. I just thought it would be a fun idea to talk about the changes in the game itself, starting with Kerwan. One of the first differences you'll notice is the ship you arrive in. By this point in the main game, you've obtained the courier ship from this guy on planet Novalis.
Thank you, your chairman shipliness.
But in the demo, the only ship present is the Blarg fighter, which isn't accessible until much later in the game from the Gemlik moonbase.
Now you are talking.
Another very obvious difference is the presence of wanted posters in the demo that was subsequently removed from the game prior to release. Interestingly, this poster is seen in one of the cutscenes later in the game during an exchange between Chairman Drek and Captain Quark.
Oh, of course!
But the posters are not seen in the levels themselves. Clearly the wanted posters were, unwanted posters. Am I right?
You suck!
Now, there are obviously minor changes to the HUD and on-screen text, but I'm not going to talk about this too much, as it's not particularly interesting. Changes were obviously made to make the on-screen text more visually appealing and easier to read, and I don't think this needs explaining further. I also noted that the on-screen text has been altered when you use the taxis to return to your ship. In the main game, the text reads "return to your ship," while in the demo it reads "return to the start." Something also worth noting is that the occasional help desk text is completely silent in the demo, but accompanied by a voiceover in the main game.
Try using the Helipack's boost jump feature to climb these boxes.
Which I think you'll agree is a notable improvement. Sounds good to me. The Gadgetron vendor is also interesting to me.
Hi there, Fuzzball.
In the demo, you have the Pyrocitor and the Blaster readily available. And you can purchase the Bomb Glove for 2,000 bolts, and the Glove of Doom for 5,000 bolts. Ordinarily, the Bomb Glove is already available from the game's outset, while the Glove of Doom does not appear at a Gadgetron vendor until you reach the next planet, Eudora, where you can purchase it for 7,500 bolts. I noticed some mild differences in texture and sound effects when using certain weapons. It's nothing major, but the appearance of the Pyrocitor flames is a little different to me. And the audio of the little Glove of Doom bots sounds more subdued in the demo. The whirring and clicking noises they make seem to be absent. Another thing worth noting in this area is the presence of breakable lights. Smashing them rewards you with more bolts. But what about the demo? Well, let me shed some light on the subject. Indeed, here, these lights are completely indestructible. At the very beginning of this level, you can turn left and complete the fitness course, but I don't like to do things in that order. Personally, I like to do the fitness course last. Sorry if that ruins your flow. I don't mean to throw a spanner in the works. Speaking of which, in the main game, Ratchet can throw his wrench by crouching with R1 and pressing square. And in the demo, there's no change here. However, unlike the finished game, he cannot throw his wrench in first-person mode. Once we reach Big Al's Robo Shack, we can purchase the Helipack upgrade.
What can I do for you?
This scene is basically the same in both versions, but amusingly, the demo features another wanted poster in the background. It's kind of funny to me that Big Al is selling you something when there's a big wanted poster with your face on it literally right there. In the demo, I also noticed that the sound effects of Clank displaying his new Helipack are far too loud and almost completely drown him out.
Ratchet, am I cool now?
They fortunately fixed this for the official release.
Ratchet, am I cool now?
Immediately after leaving this place in the demo, some Robo-Mutts appear. And these are not present in the main game. A doggone shame, that. It should be noted that there are some Robo-Mutts that appear later on when you return. But at this stage, there are no enemies here. After using the helipack to reach the rooftops, I noticed some bolts in the finished game that are also not present in the demo. My thinking is that they added these later to make it clearer where to go. Not far from here, I also noted that the Robomutt spawner has been moved. In the demo, it's situated on the bridge, whereas in the game itself, it's placed before the bridge, making it a little more obvious where the Robomutts are coming from, and perhaps also making the combat a little easier too. Speaking of the combat, there's a small change regarding the nanotech health pickups. Usually, if Ratchet breaks a nanotech crate, he will automatically absorb the nanotech only if his health needs restoring. If he's at full health, the nanotech will not be absorbed. Meanwhile, in the demo, he absorbs the nanotech regardless of whether he needs it. Next, I want to talk about the train ride.
All aboard!
This part is largely the same, although in the full game, the soundtrack changes. As soon as you board the train, there's some music that plays here that's unique to this part, while the demo simply continues to use the Metropolis theme. I also noted that the train will occasionally clip through a dirigible, and this seems to have been subsequently amended. I think they simply moved the airships to prevent this from happening. And speaking of the airships, they're decorated with the Ratchet and Clank logo in the demo, but with Quark's logo in the completed game. When the train eventually comes to a stop, the demo adds an extra enemy. The Blarg in the chopper ominously waits for you as the train pulls in. He is not seen in the actual game, and I can understand why he was cut. For one thing, you're already greeted by this annoying guy throwing bombs all over the place. But I imagine the main reason the Blarg was cut was because some players are unlikely to have obtained a blaster until later in the level. Without the blaster, I think the choppers are a little awkward to get rid of. Also, fun fact, if you look up at the very beginning of the demo, you can see the Blarg in the chopper hovering around. Creepy, right? Although this can also be to your advantage, as you can shoot him down at the very beginning.
That'll teach you for hovering around.
Chasing down the infobot lets you see a cutscene of the next location, Planet Eudora.
We must prepare this planet to be harvested for our new world.
Although in the demo, this is altered to the news report by Darla Gratch regarding Blackwater City on planet Railgar.
We've just learned that Captain Quark will be presenting the grand prize at the Intergalactic Hoverboard Championship.
In the main game, this report is accessed on the Blarg station a little later on.
In related news, this planet has recently been suffering from an infestation of strange amoeboid creatures.
But since the demo contains both Kerwan and Railgar, it makes sense that it would feature here instead. Another thing worth noting is that Gratch erroneously refers to Blackwater City as Planet Blackwater.
This is Darla Gratch reporting live from Planet Blackwater.
And this was later corrected.
This is Darla Gratch reporting live from Blackwater City.
You'll also note that when she signs off in the demo, she's reporting for Channel 64 News.
Darla Gratch, Channel 64 News.
And this was later corrected to Channel 2 News.
Darla Gratch, Channel 2 News.
Michael Cooper, I don't have a nose news reporting. And now over to, me with the fitness course.
Indeed, the last area of note in Metropolis is the fitness course.
Simply make your way to the third island to complete the course.
As was the case with the train, the music changes here. While in the demo, the Metropolis music continues to be used. One of the first things I noticed in the demo was an issue with the textures on this wall. As you can see, the graphics glitch out. Interestingly, while this has been mostly fixed in the full game, it's not perfect, as you can see here. I did notice some other graphical issues, but I didn't think they were all worth mentioning. It's clear the developers were still ironing out the wrinkles. The markers beneath the zip lines showing where to jump were also altered for the finished game. While in the demo they looked to be raised metallic markers, they were later replaced with flat green ones. At the end of the fitness course, we meet Helga, who begrudgingly sells you the swing shot.
That was the most pathetic display I have ever seen on that obstacle course!
And this is interesting to me as her outfit is completely different. In the demo, she's sporting a long-sleeved black fitness outfit with orange stripes, but this was altered to a tank top with a Captain Quark emblem, exposing her robotic arms, and dark blue jogging bottoms. Also in the demo, her hair bubbles, if you can call them that on a robot, are a standard grey metallic colour, while in the finished game, they're orange. And they also added some more subtle features, such as eyebrows and a beauty spot.
So I am going to make you pay!
I don't know why we don't see more of her regardless of what she's wearing. She's fun!
The two of you make me sick!
In a manner of speaking.
Before we leave Kerwan, I want to talk about the gold bolts. Ordinarily, this location is home to 3 hidden gold bolts, the first of which can be found in the underpass near to where you start the level. This gold bolt is also in the demo, although the animation upon receiving the gold bolts is very different. The demo just makes it look like Ratchet is receiving damage here. You can find another gold bolt if you use the helipack near the fitness course and glide over to this building. And this is the same in the demo. The only major difference I spotted in this area was another wanted poster. The last gold bolt is located near to the train on top of the piles of luggage. But in the demo it hasn't been added yet. And while we're in this area, I also noted that in the main game there's a sand mouse house. Later on, you can activate these using the Sonic Summoner, and the sand mice will assist you in battle. In the demo, the Sand Mouse house is totally absent, not that you'd be able to activate it anyway. Staying in the demo, if you then use the ship to go to Railgar, you will keep all of the weapons you purchased in Kerwan. But if you didn't get the swing shot or the helipack, it doesn't matter, as they give them to you as soon as you set foot in Blackwater City. You can also purchase the Mine Glove for 7,000 bolts.
Hi there, Fuzzball.
And if you spend a long time wandering around collecting bolts, you can also purchase the Devastator for 15,000 bolts. The Mine Glove can also be purchased in this level in the finished game for 7,500 bolts, while the Devastator is acquired later in the game for 10,000 bolts. In the demo, if you return to Kerwan, you cannot destroy the Captain Quark robot with a Devastator. But this is possible in the game itself, as destroying the robot rewards you with a skill point. Speaking of the weapons, when you reach the downtown area in the main game, this seedy guy offers to sell you a weapon called a Rhino for an extortionate price.
R-Y-N-O. Rip ya a new one.
It would have been a little weird allowing access to the most powerful weapon in the game in the demo, and as such he's totally absent here. I also noticed that the nearby crates are in slightly different positions here. In the finished version, the nanotech crate is stacked on top, while in the demo, it's on the bottom. I don't know why they changed this, but maybe somebody just thought the nanotech on the bottom just doesn't look right. Which it obviously doesn't.
What the hell were they thinking? An absolutely necessary change. I think you'll agree.
Another thing about the demo that's also really intriguing to me is that if you didn't purchase the Bomb Glove on Kerwan, you don't have access to the Bomb Glove on Railgar either. And this is kind of fascinating to me, as the Bomb Glove is so second nature in this game that it feels like you've lost a limb.
Which is ironically what's likely to happen to your enemies when you used a Bomb Glove on them.
Similar to Kerwan, the lights here can be destroyed in the main game. But in the demo, they're once again indestructible. In this level, you also need to use the Hydro Displacer, which just kind of appears in your inventory. In the game itself, this is obtained at the Blarg station, that you will have access between Kerwan and Railgar. So the fact that it's available immediately in this demo makes perfect sense. The Insta-Faucets look and behave slightly differently in the finished game compared to the demo. You see, when you need to drain the water, the Insta-Faucet stands upright, but when the water drains, the Insta-Faucet retracts into the floor. Meanwhile, the Insta-Faucets in the demo permanently stand upright. They are fixed, and as a result, they adopt a slightly different appearance. They look to be more like solid structures, while in the main game, they have detailing that makes them look more like retractable hoses. Another minor alteration I noted was that in the main game, the soundtrack becomes more muted while underwater. While in the demo, there is no change. This brings me on to another significant difference, but this one is a little difficult to explain, so try and stay with me here. The soundtrack for Railgar in the demo is actually a little different. As you can tell, it starts out the same. But just listen to this part of the finished game soundtrack. This is the same part in the demo. See? see, it's different. Now, this music you're hearing now can actually be heard in the finished game, but only in a certain place. It's triggered in the area where the water starts rising and Ratchet needs to escape. The planet's main theme resumes when you reach the elevator at the end of this section. So it seems they decided to use the more dramatic up-tempo part of the music for the water chase, but supposedly it was initially part of Railgar's main theme. Pretty cool, eh?
You said it, pal!
I also noticed another Sandmouse house that's obviously not present in the demo. Furthermore, there are some elevators in Blackwater City, and they function slightly differently in the demo, in that Ratchet locks in place. While in the completed game, you can move around. You'll also notice that the camera moves overhead, and the button to activate the elevator is not able to be activated again until you leave the elevator. I imagine both of these changes were made to prevent you from accidentally pressing the button again, which did happen to me at least once in the demo. In order to speak with Captain Quark, we need to bribe the bouncer outside his trailer.
So you don't get in unless I get a kickback. In advance.
In the demo, you just need 1,000 bolts for this, whereas ordinarily, you'd need 4,000.
You grease the hinges, the door opens.
It's rather strange when you eventually meet Quark, as Ratchet is clearly about to reference the hoverboard race.
It's Ratchet and Clank, Captain. You know, from the
Oh, yes, I know who you are.
Which, you know, hasn't happened yet if you play this level in the same order as I did. Interestingly, in the finished game, the cutscene was not amended to fix this, but they do make some interesting changes to the cutscenes otherwise.
Oh, here, take this.
Captain Quark shows you an infobot providing the coordinates for his headquarters on planet Umbris. This includes a montage of self-indulgent imagery of Quark, including this image of him holding a check. In the demo, we can see it clearly reads lottery on it, whereas in the finished game, this is replaced with $signs, possibly to make things easier for international releases. Likewise, we also see him sealing a dam with his finger, and this was actually censored. In the demo, there's a large sign reading Leaky Dike. Now, a dike is basically a dam or an embankment, but knowing the developer's tendency for double entendres, it probably has other connotations.
Well, I'll be damned. I'm merely speculating, of course. It could be completely innocent.
In the demo, the fast-paced spiel at the end of the video is also accompanied by on-screen text.
Consult your doctor before attempting any strenuous exercise. Not responsible for death or dismemberment. Your results may vary.
Whereas in the completed game, Quark's emblem is displayed instead.
Consult your doctor before attempting any strenuous exercise. Not responsible for death or dismemberment. Your results may vary.
And finally, in the demo, Quark's microphone has a number 2 on it, and this was once again replaced with his logo. I assume they initially used the microphone from Dalek Ratchet's news report as a placeholder. I also want to talk about this area with the laser grid. One thing I noticed in the demo was a sound effects glitch when you activate the explosive crate. When you touch them in the finished game, they sound like this. But the sound glitched out a few times in the demo as the crate just flashed silently. To access the gold bolt here, you need to walk along the top of the grid, but I found this more difficult to do in the demo as Ratchet kept slipping off. I'm pretty certain they amended this as I had no problem doing this in the actual game. It goes without saying, of course, that the gold bolt animation is once again different in the demo. There is actually another gold bolt in this level, although you cannot access it at this stage anyway as you need the O2 mask.
Now we are in Railgar, so I know what you've all been waiting for. You filthy perverts.
Those familiar with the game will be aware of the infamous boob cheat. If you perform a number of flips over the hoverboard race woman, her breasts grow to gargantuan size. I am firmly against objectifying women in every possible way, and I am the last person to want to do this, especially considering that the female form does absolutely nothing for me. But out of sheer curiosity, I wanted to see if her boobs would grow in the demo. And sadly, they do not.
Prude.
Anyway, as far as I could tell, the hoverboard race is largely the same. The only major difference I noted was that the music changes in the finished game. While the demo maintains the same soundtrack as before. Another difference that's possibly worth noting is the layout of the on-screen stats, but that goes for the whole of the demo.
Hi folks, Captain Quark here.
Upon winning the race, however, there are some notable changes. Quark's presentation on the TV seems to have been at least partially reanimated, with Quark being much closer to the camera. But more interestingly, in the demo version, Quark addresses the duo by name himself.
Let's give it up for newcomers, Ratchet and Clank.
Hey, look, that's us.
Whereas in the finished game, this has been altered to a computerized voice.
Let's give it up for newcomers,
Ratchet and Clank.
Hey, look, that's us.
This is obviously funnier, although it means that even if you do find Quark after completing the race, Ratchet's mentioning the hoverboard race makes even less sense, as Quark isn't even present here. It's very obviously a pre-recorded message. I also find it interesting that the image used during Quark's speech is the wanted poster image from the demo.
Today's winners will take home a brand new professional grade Model T15 Platinum Zoomerator.
In the demo, as soon as this cutscene is over, the on-screen text provides some information about the new Zoomerator you received as a prize. This information does not appear in the main game unless you start a new race.
Since you now have a Zoomerator, you can convert tricks to turbo. Press the square button to use turbo.
And I actually find this a rather strange decision, considering it's kinda hard to read the on-screen text when you're trying to concentrate on racing. I know there's a voiceover, but it's still odd to me that they moved this here. Surely the best time to receive this information would be during your downtime. Anyway, if you then attempt a race with the Zoomerator equipped, you can perform tricks that you can convert to a turbo boost. And this is where we can see another difference. The names of the tricks you perform and the points they score appear on screen in the finished game, while in the demo, this information appears to be absent. On returning to your ship, I also noticed that the taxi stops in a different place in the demo. For some reason, it doesn't stop at the taxi rank like it's supposed to. Lastly, I want to briefly mention the menus. Although I won't be spending as much time on this. Yes, the differences are substantial, but I don't think it's particularly interesting, as the demo clearly showcases a prototypical menu design. Now, some features are notably absent. While there are animations of Ratchet holding the various weapons and gadgets, there is no animation for the helipack, as seen in the main game. It's also obvious that they later added images to make it more presentable, such as in the items menu. The moves list is almost identical, although the name of the super glide move was later changed to simply the glide move. I also noted the lack of an options menu, meaning you can't toggle the sound effects or the camera rotation speed, although I think it's at its fastest in the demo anyway. So yeah, while there are many differences in the menus, most of them are typical of a prototype, so I didn't want to dwell on this for too long.
And those are all of the major changes that I noticed. This video was initially planned to be much shorter, but I can be a bit of a ratchet mouth.
You said it, pal.
Was there anything else major that I missed? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, have a Quark-tastic day.
So say goodbye. Now it's time to fly to infinity and beyond.
Hey everyone! I know this was a little different to the norm, but I hope you enjoyed it. At some point I might even get around to reviewing the Ratchet and Clank games. At this time there aren't any plans to, but I'm certainly open to it. As always, many thanks to my patrons: Heather McKnight, Upside Clown, Anthony Gallagher, 3Spooky5Me, Volico72, and Matthew Shaw. Thanks also to my free patrons: Dinosaur Bites, Jennifer Erzan, Jeremy Miller, Yukanai Yuko, Alma Elmer, Kira Flameheart, D Snuts, Hannah Kingdon, Michael Shields,
Dennis,
GamerKid96, and Mood Faig. And of course, a special thank you to my channel members: Reunion, Jeremy Miller, Mr. D, and 3Spooky5Me. See you soon guys, bye bye for now.